The lecture hall fell silent as Commander Vexthor limped onto the stage, his 3 remaining limbs moving with practiced precision. The Calthrosian War veteran's crystalline exoskeleton bore the scars of 100 battles, but none had marked him quite like the siege of Proxima Station. "You've all read the approved histories," Vexthor began, his translator rendering his chittering speech into standard galactic. "You know humans joined the Federation 70 cycles ago. You know they helped us win the Krillian War. But you don't know the truth about what they really are." The young cadets in the audience leaned forward. This was why they had come, to hear from someone who had actually fought alongside humanity. Vexthor activated the holographic display. Images of human soldiers flickered to life and several cadets recoiled instinctively. Humans were unsettling to look at, soft-skinned, bizarrely symmetrical, with forward-facing predator eyes that seemed to track everything. "I was a captain when the humans arrived at Proxima," Vexthor continued. "We'd been holding the station for 3 months against Krillian siege forces. Our supplies were gone. Our ammunition was at 7%. High Command had written us off." He paused, mandibles clicking softly. Then the humans showed up with 1 ship, 1 single destroyer. A cadet raised a tentacle. "Sir, the report said a full battle group relieved Proxima." "The reports lie," Vexthor said flatly. "It was 1 ship. The Turv Indomitable. 200 humans." He manipulated the display, showing the battered destroyer against the backdrop of 6 Krillian dreadnoughts. I thought they were insane. I told their captain, a woman named Chen, that reinforcements were suicide. Do you know what she said? The hall remained silent. She said, "Commander, we didn't come to reinforce you. We came to break the siege." Then she smiled. Vexthor's translator couldn't quite capture the chill that had run through his carapace at that moment. Humans smile when they're about to do something particularly reckless. He advanced the hologram, showing the initial engagement. The Indomitable didn't use standard tactics. They accelerated directly toward the Krillian flagship at maximum burn. Every sensor said they were going to ram it. A suicide run. The Krillians thought so too. They repositioned to intercept, consolidating their formation. Vexthor's voice grew quieter. "That's when I learned the first truth about humans. They don't think like us. We calculate odds, assess risks, follow doctrine. Humans, they improvise. They gamble. They trust their instincts in ways that should get them killed." The hologram showed the Indomitable suddenly inverting thrust, bleeding velocity in a maneuver that should have torn the ship apart. Marine drop pods launched from unexpected angles, each filled with human soldiers in powered armor. 40 humans boarded the Krillian flagship, Vexthor said. 40, against a crew of 4,000. He paused for effect. They took the bridge in 11 minutes. Disbelief rippled through the audience. A Vrexian cadet stood. "Sir, that's impossible. Krillians are biochemically fearless. They don't retreat, don't surrender." "How?" "Because you don't understand the second truth about humans," Vexthor interrupted. "They terrify their enemies not through size or strength, but through sheer, incomprehensible persistence. When we fight until victory or death is inevitable. Humans, they fight until they've won, regardless of whether victory is possible. The difference is subtle but absolute." He changed the display to show combat footage, grainy, chaotic, horrifying. Human Marines moved through the Krillian ship like a plague, their tactics a bewildering mix of precision and madness. 1 human took 17 plasma hits and kept fighting long enough to eliminate an entire Krillian warpack before collapsing. Another, separated from her unit, held a junction alone for 40 minutes against endless reinforcements. The Krillian commander tried to negotiate, Vexthor said. Captain Chen refused. She told him she hadn't come to negotiate. She'd come to teach the Krillians why humans don't lose. He manipulated the controls again. The flagship exploded 20 minutes later. Chen and her Marines evacuated on stolen Krillian shuttles seconds before detonation. The display shifted to show the aftermath. The remaining Krillian ships, their command structure shattered, had broken formation. The siege ended not with a grand battle, but with enemy retreat from a numerically superior position. "That brings me to the third truth," Vexthor said, his voice heavy with something the translator rendered as respect. "We, all of us in this room, all species in the Federation, we evolved on worlds where we learned to coexist with our environments. We developed intelligence to solve problems, to adapt, to survive. Humans evolved on a death world called Earth, where everything, the weather, the animals, the plants, even the bacteria, tried to kill them constantly. He gestured at the frozen image of a human marine, her armor scorched and dented but her eyes blazing with uncompromising determination. They didn't develop intelligence to coexist. They developed it to conquer, to refuse every limit nature imposed. When a human is wounded, chemicals flood their system that make them stronger, faster, more pain-resistant. When they're threatened, they don't calculate, they fight. And when they decide something must be done, reality itself seems to bend rather than break their will. Vexthor deactivated the display and faced the cadets directly. You will serve with humans. Some of you will command them. Remember this, they are not like us. They don't think like us. What we call impossible, they call Tuesday. What we call heroic, they call their job. And what we call terrifying, he tapped his chest where his third combat heart had once beat, destroyed at Proxima. They call that a good story for later. The commander straightened as much as his injuries allowed. The humans saved us at Proxima, not because they're stronger or smarter or better equipped, but because when faced with impossible odds, every other species in the galaxy asks, how do we survive this? Humans ask, how do we win this? He began to leave the stage, then turned back one final time. One more thing, cadets. When you fight alongside humans, you'll be terrified, not of the enemy, of them, of what they're capable of what they're willing to sacrifice, of how they laugh in the face of death itself. His translator crackled with emotion, but you'll also be grateful. Because when humans decide you're worth fighting for, nothing in this galaxy can stand against them. As Vexthor limped into the shadows, the cadets sat in stunned silence, each contemplating the strange, terrifying species that had become the Federation's most valued and most unpredictable allies.